Hello there folks, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So a lot of you guys wanted me to continue a series in Kerbal Space Program, so we're going to do that. A lot of you suggested science mode, which I really do want to do, and some of you actually suggested career mode. I do think career mode is a little bit more fun, but it is a bit of a grind. So what we're going to do is we're going to play career mode, but we're going to reduce the grind so we don't have to, do missions just to make money or just to make science. We're not going to do it on easy mode because we're going to adjust our settings a little bit. We're going to turn off indestructible facilities because, Kerbal Space Program is all about blowing stuff up. So we're going to turn that off. We're going to turn the reentry heat back up to normal. Resources back down to normal. Back down to normal. Science rewards, we're going to keep... Actually, we're going to... 200 for science rewards is just fine because earning science isn't as hard as earning funds. And that's the one thing that makes this a little bit of a grind. So we're actually going to bump that up quite a bit so we don't have to just go through missions to make money. So I think that's just about all we're going to do. Also, we're going to increase our starting funds just a bit so we can make some cool ships right off the bat. Maybe make it to the Mun and stuff like that. And that's about it. So we're going to increase the reentry heat, reduce the resource abundancy, and increase the funds rewards. And that should be good. Alright, so let's start our awesome Kerbal Space Program career mode. Hopefully this will go quite well. Alright, thanks, got it. Well, first thing we should do is, let's take a look at what there is to see. We don't have much as far as, we can only have 5 active Kerbalnauts. Well, I like Jenny Kerman. She's pretty stupid and kind of courageous, so that's awesome. There we go. I think we're going to have her... Is that a her or him? I'm not even sure. Can't really tell the difference. Valentina Kerman's definitely a girl. But, anyhow, who cares? Let's get a mission set up. Contracts. Well, actually, this is our science. 5 basic science to get to the next level. And another 5 science for engineering. Engineering is the best because it gives you decouplers. However, I suppose decouplers are useless if you don't have proper rocket engines. And this gives you proper rocket engines, so you might actually have to go with basic rocketry first, and then engineering 101. Alright, well, let's see. I think here we go. Research and development, finances, public relations, operations. So, recovering parts landed far away from the Space Center can be very costly, but I reckon we can reduce those costs by installing better transponders on those parts we launched. These units are not cheap, but they should make it much easier to find parts, improving the recovery value, even if they're halfway around Kerbin. What do you say? It's actually quite a lot of, is that science? I don't think we can do that right now, but this is good stuff to keep in mind. Alright, let's head to Mission Control and take a look at our contracts that we have. So our available contracts are launch our first vessel. I think we can do that. Escape the atmosphere, probably not on our first attempt. Okay, so we already have some active missions. So set an altitude record of 3,500 meters. That we can do. Set a record of 5,000 meters. Hopefully we can do that. And set a record speed of 150 meters per second. I think we can do that. And launch our first vessel. Well, we're definitely going to be doing that. Escape the atmosphere, probably not on our first attempt, not with what we have. Gather scientific data from Kerbin. Yeah, let's do that. And orbit Kerbin, probably not going to happen the first mission. So, let's close this. Take a look at what we have to work with. Okay, yep. Well, let's put down our pod. So, what do we have? Fuel tanks, we have nothing. Engines, we have these teeny tiny solid rocket boosters, which have max thrust of, in atmosphere 179.2, in a vacuum of 192. Alright. Structural, we have modular girder segments. Nothing for command and control yet. Aerodynamics, we have basic fins. Utility, we have parachutes. Good thing we have parachutes. And we have the mystery goo containment unit. So, well, we are certainly going to launch a vessel. Hopefully we can make it pretty far. And we're going to use all of our things that we can use so that we can hopefully get as far up as we possibly can. I'm going to put a whole bunch of these guys on here. I don't want to go too fast because we do have the atmospheric reentry heat, or atmospheric friction heat, rather. And if we go too fast, we can simply blow up our spacecraft, or atmospheric craft in this case, because I don't think it's making it to space. Probably not this time, at least. We're going to have to throw a parachute on the top. Probably more than one parachute. In fact, we'll put 4 parachutes there. 1 parachute on the top of this guy. And apparently we threw even more parachutes on there. Well, whatever. That just means it'll slow down quicker. And we don't want it blowing up. Or do we? Alright, well, let's put a whole bunch of these mystery goo containment units on. For more added science. And let's make it even, though. There we go. Nope, that's not even. Is that even? Yeah, that's even. Alright, now we need to adjust our staging. That's pretty easy. We'll just throw all the rockets on the bottom stage and the parachutes on the top stage. And this should be good enough. And this is just going to be the Go Maker Mark 1. And it will go, is essentially what we're going to do. Let's launch this guy. Let's fulfill one of our contracts right away by doing science. Observe the mystery goo. And goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. I don't think it would. It's just sitting on the launch pad. However, now I'm guessing, holy Jesus Christ, this is going really fast. Observe the mystery goo. The goo jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. Keep data. That's good data. Observe the mystery goo. So keep on observing it. Okay, well that's fine. We're going to save the last one for when we have landed. We really didn't make it that far, but holy crap, did we go really fast. And, well, let's turn off our SAS. No need to have that on. And we have plenty of parachutes to help slow us down. And I suppose we can probably do an EVA report. Or not an EVA report, a crew report rather. Keep data. Yeah, we don't want to be outside of our spacecraft right now. It's not technically a spacecraft, but someday it will be. All right, well, let's speed up time a little bit. No need to drop to the atmosphere slowly. All right, and then we have one more goo containment unit that we can gather science from. I'm curious to see to which contracts we have fulfilled. All right, there we go. That was a successful landing. Observe the mystery goo. Keep the data. And let's see, what contracts? We launched our first vessel, and we set a speed record of 150 meters per second. Not bad. We didn't quite make it to 3,500 meters. Or 5,000 meters. Hopefully next flight will shatter that record. So let's recover the vessel, see how much science we got from that. All right, we got 68 science. That was a fantastic mission. All right. And we did get a little bit of funds from the recovered parts. Not much, but something. And we have plenty of funds now to make an awesome, awesome, awesome spacecraft. And we will do that, so. Yay, 1 XP gain for Jebediah Kerman. Total reputation, 56. All right. Well, let's go to the command center. I think we could probably escape the atmosphere. And now we definitely need to go to the research and development because we have so much science. Basic rocketry, done. Engineering 101, done. So we have enough for 2 of these. So we have enough for either general rocketry and stability and survivability, or any permutation of these 3. We can take 2 of them. I'm thinking we're definitely going with general rocketry because that gives us a larger liquid fuel tank. Right now we do have a teeny tiny itty bitty liquid fuel tank with a little liquid fuel engine. Actually, it's not that little. It has pretty good max thrust in atmosphere of 200, which is pretty good, but it doesn't have much fuel. Also, we have a little bit larger solid rocket boosters. This one, we can get even larger solid rocket boosters. We can have a gimbaling engine, which is better in a vacuum. As you can see, the max thrust in a vacuum is 200, whereas the max thrust in atmosphere is 168.75. Also, we do get the larger fuel tank, so we're definitely taking this. There's no way we wouldn't. All right, can't get any of these because they're 45 science. And this, we have stability, meh, not really interested. We have nose cones and stuff like that. Winglets and radial decouplers, which I suppose radial decouplers are nice. However, this gives us heat shields, micro landing struts, so if we ever wanted to land on the Mun, we'll definitely need those if we want to get back. Also, radial mounted parachutes, and a service bay, which is something I've never actually used. Hey, wait a second, we can actually get all three. I did my math wrong. There we go. We got all three. So let's take a look at what we have next and what we're going to be shooting for. Well, we have this, which is an even larger fuel tank. Some little different teeny tiny liquid engine there, and another liquid fuel engine there. We have a structural fuselage for, in atmosphere flying. We have a strut connector. Ooh, a larger decoupler, or is that a smaller decoupler? Anyhow, it's no fuel crossfeed enabled, unfortunately, and an adapter and a launch stability enhancer, which is going to be nice for building those larger craft. This is basically all aircraft parts here. Maybe if we wanted to do that. We also have flight control, which gives us small SAS as well as a winglet and an inline cockpit if we wanted to make, say, a jet or something. We could take it to space too, but it doesn't have as good of a heat resistance, probably, would be my guess. All right, and then there is the, what is this? Basic science. A Stay Putnik Mark 1, which is a probe, batteries, very, very important, and a thermometer, and a command, what is that? Communication thing. So we want the batteries, so we might have to go with this one next, possibly. Anywho, there's a very, very large tech tree to get through, so we'll get to it in due time. But now we need to make some sort of spacecraft that will hopefully make it out of the atmosphere. So let's start with a brand new one. We will take the Mark 1 cockpit. We'll bring it up here. It is going to have a parachute on it. And a service bay. Not really sure how these service bays work. Okay, so you can put stuff in it. Well, that makes sense. I'm not even sure if we need a service bay because there's not much to put in it right now. Yeah, there's not much we can put in the service bay right now. So, in fact, we're just going to put a Science Junior on the top. So hopefully when we make it to space, the Science Junior will gather some science for us. No reason to have a Communitron because I don't think we're going to need to send any data because hopefully we'll be able to recover the vessel. And just for safety, I'm going to put an extra parachute on the side and some landing struts on this guy. Make sure that it can open, though. I think that is good. Whoop. There we go. Yep, that should be good. It can still open. All right. Now we need the stack decoupler. Actually, do we have a heat shield? I believe we had a heat shield. Under utility or aerodynamics. There we go, heat shield. We're going to put the heat shield on there. Just in case we need it. We might not need it, but it can't possibly hurt to have it. Alright, now we need that stack decoupler. And as you can see, it made a fairing, which is kind of cool. Alright. And now we're going to have our second stage, which is just going to be 2 of those, and which one of you is better in a vacuum? Liquid fuel engine. This one is the one that's better in a vacuum, so whoop, there we go. And now we're going to have our first stage. We also need to separate that by a stack decoupler, and it creates another cool little fairing. Okay. Now we need to add some fuel tanks to this guy. It really would be nice having larger fuel tanks, but unfortunately we do not right now. So we're going to have to do what we can with what we have. And we're going to put on the one that's best in the atmosphere, which is this guy. It's a non-gimbaling engine. So hopefully we don't, you know, fly in a crazy direction, because there's no way to stop us from doing that then. Because there is no gimbaling on that engine. Alright, there we go. And now we will throw the large thumper boosters on here. Alright. So, this will fire with the solid rocket boosters. So this engine will fire with the solid rocket boosters. The solid rocket boosters will be done. They will detach. And then when this is done, it will detach. And we will launch our second stage, which is technically our third stage if you consider the solid rocket boosters our first stage. And then we have some science to do in space. And yeah, hopefully we make it there. We could probably put some fins on this guy just to make sure. Where are our aerodynamics? Winglets, basic fins. Yeah, we'll put some nose cones on here. Because I know they did add some atmospheric stuff, so they added better atmospheric effects. So we might as well put some nose cones on it. Put some basic fins on there as well. And we'll make this the... Hopefully this will be our first craft to make it into space, but... Goal maker, mark. 2. Alright, we'll save that. And we will launch it. Oh, that's right. We can only have 30 parts or less. So... How many parts do we have right now? We have 28 parts. Okay, that'll do it. Save and launch. Oh. This is actually a really heavy ship, so... What we're going to do instead is... There we go. That's a lot simpler. Hopefully we can make it in space. Not sure if we will with this design. We'll have to upgrade our launch pad and vehicle assembly building then. I think we should have plenty of stuff to do so. And throttle up. Not that we really have to with the solid rocket booster. Jeb is looking meh, as casual as normal. And let's go up. I'm sure we're going to beat our altitude record. Hopefully we'll definitely make it to 5,000 meters. I don't think that's going to be an issue, as long as we stay on course. And we're going pretty quick here. We're already getting the Mach effects. So we are really, really booking it. And there we go. We have our first altitude record. Oh, that's not good. For some reason it doesn't want to... Well, I guess we're going up, but the aerodynamic model is quite a lot different than it was previously. So, well, goodbye. I don't want to have you destroy my ship. So we're going to reach our apoaps, and we already have, so observe the material bay. Hooray, that's actually quite a bit of science, so we're going to keep that data. And we're going to put down our gear. So I guess we didn't need the heat shield on this run. But we're going to have to upgrade our vehicle assembly building and our launch pad so we can definitely make it into space then. Alright. Well, let's deploy our 2 little parachutes. Speed up our way down. I believe they open it around 2,000 meters. Oh, maybe even less. right, and there we go. Parachutes are open. Now we can gently glide our way down. And I think Jeb can probably even do an EVA and gather a ground sample. Not that he'll gather much science from it, but he'll gather some. And we did shatter 2 of our altitude records, so that is very nice. Record speed, I don't think we beat that, unfortunately. So let's do an EVA. EVA report. This is a most precarious situation. Okay, well, there we go. That's good enough, I guess. And let's board again. And let's recover the vessel. I'm gonna guess we got some good science from that, and we got some money from doing the 2 missions that we had. So we have earned 47.9 science for a total of 53 now, so we can get 1 more thing at our science center. And we got a whole bunch of money from that, which is good because we're going to need it if we're going to go to the Mun. Alright. Total reputation 60, really didn't gain much from that. So let's go to the astronaut complex. Still, I might want to upgrade that actually. So, science, research, and development. So, what do we want to do? Advanced rocketry. Get some better fuel tanks. Probably a good idea. Let's research that. Alright, now let's actually upgrade our facilities. I believe we do that at the administration building. Actually, no, that's not how we do it at all. To upgrade our building, we simply right-click on it and upgrade. We do have the money to do so, so let's upgrade them. Yay! Slightly better than it was before. So let's take a look inside. I'm pretty sure the inside will change as well. Yes, it did. It's much, much larger inside. So, our engineering report, we can have a total of 255 parts. That's way better than what we had before. All right. All right, well, I think we're actually going to have to continue this next time. Next time, we are definitely going to be making it into space. So, thank you folks for watching Career Mode Episode 1. I will continue next episode. So, thank you folks for watching, and I will see you folks next time.